was looking at my calendar this morning, just staring at all those little colored blocks stacked on top of each other. You know that feeling?
Oh, I do. It's almost a physical sensation, isn't it?
It is like a tightness in your chest. It feels like the sheer volume of things that need to be done is, I don't know, physically pushing against you.
That's the modern condition, I think.
Hmm.
That constant low-level hum of anxiety. We're just constantly being pulled for attention.
The notifications, the deadlines.
Family obligations, all of it.
Hmm.
And there's this underlying fear that if you stop even for just 5 minutes, the whole spinning plate act is going to come crashing down.
That's it, exactly. The fear of the crash. And I think because of that, we start treating peace like it's some kind of vacation destination. Like, oh, I'll find peace when I go to the beach in 6 months, or, I'll have peace when I retire. It doesn't feel like something that's available on a random Tuesday morning when the inbox is full.
Which is precisely why the material we are walking through today felt so necessary to me. We aren't looking at a productivity hack or some time management book. We're taking a deep dive into a devotional series. It's called Redeemer of My Story.
Right, and specifically we're looking at 2 really distinct days from that series. They're based on song lyrics from the album of the same name. And to be honest, when I first read the source material for these 2 days, I thought there was a mistake. I thought these 2 things just do not go together.
It does feel like a contradiction at first glance, doesn't it?
Completely. Because on one side, you've got a devotional centered on the song At Your Feet, and the whole vibe there is stillness. It's quiet. It's about stopping. And then you turn the page and you get Fire in My Bones, and that is, well, it's loud. It's intense. It's all about action.
It is the classic tension of the spiritual life, though. It's that question of how do we balance the desperate need to rest and recover with that burning, undeniable need to do something that matters.
And usually I feel like I have to pick one. I'm either running a marathon at work or I'm comatose on the couch. There is no middle ground. But the argument these sources are making is that these 2 states, the stillness and the fire, they aren't actually opposites.
They aren't opposites.
No. The source suggests they are deeply connected, that you actually can't sustain one without the other.
I think that's the key right there. Sustainability. So often we burn out because we try to have the fire without the feet, or we stagnate because we have the feet without the fire.
So true.
Let's start with that first one, though. Let's look at Your Feet.
Okay, so this devotional kicks off with a scripture that is, well, it's famous, maybe a little infamous, depending on your personality type. It's Luke 10:42.
Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her.
The Mary and Martha story. And I have to say, every time I hear this story, I feel a little defensive on behalf of Martha,
Well, I think a lot of us do.
Here she is, running around, trying to get dinner on the table for Jesus and all these disciples. Someone has to cook. If everyone is sitting at Jesus' feet like Mary, everyone starves.
It feels a little unfair to tell Martha she's doing it wrong.
I think a lot of us resonate with Martha. We value productivity. We show love by doing things. But the source makes a really crucial distinction here. It's not necessarily saying that cooking dinner is bad.
Right.
It's saying that Martha was distracted by all the preparations. She was worried and upset.
So it wasn't the work itself, it was her internal state.
Exactly. The devotional makes this really bold statement. It says, peace isn't found by doing more, but by choosing differently.
Choosing differently. Okay, that lands differently than just stop working.
It does. It challenges that whole cultural narrative we all subscribe to, that peace is a reward. We think, once I finish the project, then I get peace.
Once the house is clean, then I can sit down. Yeah.
But the source is reframing peace entirely. It argues that peace isn't a result of achievement. It's a choice of posture. A choice of posture. I like that, but I'm trying to picture what that actually looks like in reality.
Yeah.
Because the laundry still has to get done.
It does. But the source says, choosing the better portion isn't about escaping responsibility. It's about living from the right place. Think about the difference between doing the laundry because you're frantic and angry that no one else is helping, versus doing the laundry because it needs to be done, but internally your heart is settled.
That's a massive difference. One completely drains you, the other is just life. The lyrics from the song At Your Feet really try to capture that shift. It says, at your feet, I choose the better portion. At your feet, my heart becomes devotion.
I want to pause on that word devotion.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of religious circles, devotion has become a synonym for discipline. You have your morning devotions. It's a task.
It's a box you check.
Right. Read 3 chapters, pray for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm good with God for the day.
Totally. It feels like a transaction. I put in the time, God gives me the blessing.
But look at how the source defines it here. It says devotion grows through presence, not pressure or perfection.
Not pressure or perfection. That is a relief, because I think a lot of us carry the secret guilt that we aren't spiritual enough because we aren't disciplined enough.
Right. But the text says life becomes an offering, not because you try to give or do more, but because your heart has learned where it belongs. That shifts the whole center of gravity. It's about belonging, not striving. When you know where you belong at, his feet, everything else just falls into order.
And then there's this line in the lyrics, every burden melts away, every worry fades in grace. When I first read that, I was a little skeptical.
I get that.
I thought, okay, that's poetic, but my burden is a mortgage. It doesn't just melt.
It's a fair skepticism, but maybe does the burden disappear or does the weight of the burden change? The source isn't promising that your problems vanish. It's saying that when you are at his feet, when you are in that posture of receiving, you aren't carrying the full weight of the world anymore. You realize you aren't the CEO of the universe.
Which, honestly, is a job I am not qualified for anyway.
None of us are. And, you know, what gives this particular song so much credibility for me is the backstory the author shares.
Right.
This wasn't written during some calm, easy season.
You know, I caught that too. The author says it was written during a season that was full, heavy, and demanding.
And that just changes the lens, doesn't it? It's easy to write about stillness when you're on a silent retreat in the mountains.
Right, when your biggest worry is what kind of tea to drink.
Exactly. But to write about stillness when the world is screaming at you, that's hard. The author realized they could so easily stay busy without being present. They were doing all the right things, but they were missing the point. They had to make a conscious choice over and over again to just stop.
And that leads to the pivotal lesson of this first segment for me. The author writes, "At your feet is my reminder that peace isn't something I achieve. It's something I receive."
Received, not achieved. If we could just get that one concept into our heads, I think our collective blood pressure would drop about 10 points. It steadies the heart for whatever comes next.
And we definitely need a steady heart, because whatever comes next in this devotional series is, it is not a nap.
No. We are pivoting from the carpet to the furnace.
So we've talked about the input receiving piece. Now we have to talk about the output. The second source is the devotional for the song Fire in My Bones. And the scripture anchor here is Jeremiah 20.9.
Jeremiah. Now there is a complex figure.
Yeah, let's talk about Jeremiah for a second, because if people know him, they usually know him as the weeping prophet.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly living his best life.
No.
He was mocked. He was isolated. People did not want to hear what he had to say.
No, they didn't. And in this specific passage, Jeremiah is basically trying to quit. He's tired of the backlash. He's tired of being the guy with the bad news. He decides, I'm not going to mention God anymore. I'm just going to shut up and be normal.
I think we've all felt that, maybe not on a prophetic level, but just that desire to keep your head down, to not rock the boat.
To keep your faith or your convictions private, because it's just easier.
It is easier. It's safer.
It is safer. But listen to what Jeremiah says happens when he tries to stay silent. His word was in my heart like a burning fire, shut up in my bones. I was weary of holding it back, and I could not.
Weary of holding it back. That's such a paradox. Usually we think weariness comes from doing too much.
Right.
But here the exhaustion comes from not doing the thing you're called to do.
That's a profound insight. It's the exhaustion of resistance. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to suppress who you are and what you know to be true. The source describes this as a moment where obedience becomes unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Not that you were forced against your will, like a robot, but that the reality inside you is so strong, it simply has to come out. It's physics. You know, if you heat water enough, it has to boil.
The lyrics in the song, Fire in My Bones, really capture that pressure release. It says, fire in my bones, I can't contain. Jesus, I won't hold it in. And then the bridge gets really combative almost. Yeah. It says, I won't run, I won't hide. Your fire is my fight.
Now, I do want to be careful here, because when we talk about fire and fight in a religious context, it can get messy.
Oh, yeah.
We've all seen what it looks like when people get fired up and just start burning down relationships or yelling on the internet.
Oh, absolutely. Zeal without knowledge.
Yeah.
It can be destructive. It can be scary.
And the source addresses this directly. It makes a crucial distinction between fire that is reckless and fire that is refining.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Yeah.
Because fire is fire, it burns. How do we know the difference?
So think about a forest fire versus a kiln. A forest fire is reckless. It's out of control. It consumes everything in its path. The dead wood, the live trees, the houses. It leaves nothing but ash. That's what happens when we act out of ego or anger or just unbridled emotion.
Right. I'm with you.
But a refining fire, like at a kiln or a forge,
Yeah.
that is controlled. It's intense, yes, it's hot. But its purpose isn't to destroy the object. It's to strengthen it. It burns away the impurities, the dross, so that the gold remains.
So the choice is saying this fire in my bones isn't about us losing control.
Right. The text says it doesn't consume you, it forms you. It doesn't burn you up, it sustains you.
That is fascinating. So this intense call to action, this drive to speak out or step up is actually what keeps us going. It's not the thing that burns us out.
Exactly. When God's fire exists for action, for testimony, for transformation, it shapes how you respond to the world. It's not just excitement or emotional hype. It's a sustaining force. It's the reason you get up in the morning when you'd rather stay in bed.
The author's backstory here is really relatable too, just like with the first song. You might think someone writing a song called Fire in My Bones is just naturally bold.
Yeah, you picture someone who loves the microphone, loves the stage.
Totally. But that wasn't the case at all. The author admits they tried to keep things small. They wanted to stay quiet. They tried to ignore what God was asking because it felt too big or too scary.
That is so common. We often mistake our personality for our calling. We think, oh, I'm an introvert, so I don't have a fire calling. Or, I'm quiet, so I don't need to speak up.
But the source says the truth kept rising. The fire kept burning until they finally said yes. And this is the part that really surprised me. The author says that saying yes to this scary, burning call, it gave them peace.
And there it is, the connection.
It's a different kind of peace, though, isn't it?
It is. It's not the peace of a quiet room. It's the peace of alignment. You know that feeling when you finally say the thing you've been needing to say? It's terrifying. But immediately afterwards, there's this deep exhale. Okay, I did it. I'm aligned with the truth.
So let's try to put these two together. Because we have At Your Feet, which is about stopping, receiving, and stillness. And we have Fire in My Bones, which is about going, speaking, and action. How do we live in both?
I think we have to stop seeing them as conflicting schedules and start seeing them as a rhythm, like breathing.
Breathing.
Think about it. At your feet is the inhale. You can't just exhale forever. You'll pass out.
Yeah.
You have to stop. You have to take in the air. You have to take in the presence, steady the heart. Remember who you are. That's the better portion.
And Fire in My Bones is the exhale.
Yes. And you can't hold your breath forever either. If you just sit at Jesus' feet and never go out the door, oh, you turn purple. Eventually, that intake of grace has to become an output of truth.
I love that. If you only have the fire without the feet, you become reckless. You burn out. You hurt people. But if you only have the feet without the fire,
then you're filling a reservoir that never waters the fields. You're holding back something that's meant to be shared. You become a stagnant pond.
the source mentioned that the fire is why the author keeps showing up and trusting God with their story. It's the fuel. But the peace, that seems to be the common thread in both places.
It is. And if you really drill down into these sources, the mechanism for finding that peace is actually the same in both scenarios.
How so? One is stopping, one is starting. How is it the same mechanism?
It's all surrender.
Oh.
At your feet, what are you doing? You are surrendering the need to achieve. You are surrendering the need to control the outcome. You are surrendering the idea that the world will fall apart without you.
And in Fire in My Bones.
You are surrendering the desire to hide. You are surrendering the fear of what people might think. You are surrendering your preference for keeping things small and safe.
That hits hard. So peace isn't found in safety, which is where I usually look for it. And it isn't found in busyness, which is where I usually try to earn it. It's found in surrender.
Correct. Whether that is the surrender of stopping or the surrender of going. The author notes that obedience, that active surrender, is less about gritting your teeth and trying harder, and more about yielding to what God is already igniting inside you.
It takes the pressure off, doesn't it? I don't have to manufacture the fire myself. I don't have to rub sticks together to make a spark. And I don't have to manufacture the rest. I just have to be willing to step into what he's offering. in that moment.
That's it. It's about responsiveness. Sometimes the most obedient thing you can do is take a nap and let the world spin without you. That's at your feet.
And sometimes the most obedient thing you can do is stand up in the meeting and speak the truth, even if your voice shakes.
That's fire in my bones.
This is really reshaping how I view my own week, because I usually look at my schedule and think, okay, when can I squeeze in God between the gym and the grocery store?
Right.
But these sources are suggesting that God is the ground I'm standing on, whether I'm sitting still or running fast.
And that brings us back to that idea of the better portion from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her.
It will not be taken away.
That implies that when you stand up to leave the feet of Jesus, you take that presence with you. When you enter the fire, you aren't alone. You carry the better portion into the battle.
Your fire is my fight. It's his fire. We're just the vessel.
We are the vessel.
Yeah.
We receive and we pour out. We rest and we run. It's a beautiful, sustainable cycle. And frankly, it's the only way to survive the modern world without losing your soul.
So let's recap the journey we've been on in this deep dive. We started with the crushing pressure of the calendar and that invitation to just stop and sit at your feet.
Right.
We learned that peace is a posture, not some prize for finishing your work.
And we challenge the idea that sitting is passive. It's an active choice of devotion over distraction.
Then we moved to the uncontainable fire, seeing how deep internal conviction leads to unavoidable action. We discussed the difference between a reckless fire that destroys and a refining fire that forms us.
And finally, we saw that both the stillness and the action are acts of surrender that lead to true peace. It's a holistic view of a life lived with God. It's not compartmentalized, it's all one story.
If you are listening to this and thinking, I need more of this rhythm in my life, these insights came from the Redeemer of My Story devotional series and the accompanying album. The sources mention that for those who want to go deeper, there is a written journey available to walk through these concepts day by day.
And I'd recommend listening to the songs themselves. They are available wherever you stream music. Sometimes when your brain is just too tired to process a sermon or a book, music has a way of slipping past the defenses.
It really does. Sometimes you just need to put the headphones on and let the truth wash over you.
Absolutely.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought to carry with you this week. We often operate under the assumption that peace comes from safety, from silence, and from everything being under control. That's what we are chasing.
But based on what we've unpacked today, I think we have to ask a different question.
Is it possible that true peace isn't found in the absence of trouble, but is actually found in the tension of staying close while burning bright? Can you find the eye of the storm not by running away from the storm, but by letting the fire inside you be bigger than the chaos around you?
That is something worth sitting with. Or perhaps something worth standing up for.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Whether you need to sit at his feet today or let that fire out, we hope you find your rhythm.
Until next time.